Business Today speaks to Ahmad Taufek Omar, Executive Vice President and Chief Executive Officer of TM1, on its Cloud Alpha offerings to enable businesses adapt, be more agile and grow during trying times. As the enabler of a hyper-connected ecosystem, TM1 is taking digital transformation forward for Malaysian businesses and the public sector. Let's hear what he has to say.
Originally, TM1 is being set up to spearhead the overall digital transformation for the country. But recently, with the pandemic, COVID, it has accelerated a lot of our initiative. So, when the government declared the first MCO in March, so I threw a challenge to a team to come up with something just to make sure we leverage on the pandemic. So we launched our Cloud Alpha in March itself. It was end of March or first week of April. So we launched Cloud Alpha where we started to offer cloud-related services during MCO. So we know that will be essential for some organization during that time. Secondly, after that, we launched One Pass. So these are the two key launch or key products that we did while we were working at home. So we took the opportunity of us being at home and launch something which is beneficial to the nation. So when we launched Cloud Alpha is a mother brand of our cloud services. So we work with Microsoft in March and April recently. So we launched, we want it to be served to selected companies. Then when we know the issue of COVID-19 is all about how do we manage the traffic, the people, and how do we make sure we have got the technology behind thermal sensors, visitors management. So we hatch a product we call One Pass. So it was purely local product. We have got our own software designers or software architect and also coders for us to code the product, and we launched it recently. This in essence is congruent to the actual plan of TM1, which we want to play a very important role towards the nation digitalization process. So when it comes to activity does not stop. In fact, the activity is getting more and more. But of course, being a responsible corporate organization, there are times we need to take a pause or look into sacrificing to our customer in serving them in the future. So in essence, I would say from a revenue perspective, there could be some impact. It's a time for me to invest to my customer. So they are in the difficult times, so there could be some portion that we will have to sacrifice. So there are some areas we give some leeway, so we give some discount just to make sure that their organization can cope up with the pandemic. That is part of our being responsible provider. We want to be with them because we know we're going to come back. The government is forecasting 5.6% growth towards the end of 2021. So we make sure once we are with them, they come back to us. So we'll reap the fruits later. TM1 has got both. We are doing a network services and infra perspective, but we are also doing a lot of software. Of late, we are doing software which is meant for the end user. So when we look at how TM1 is playing a part, we started to have our own asset on data centers many years ago. And in fact, in April last year, we launched Twin Core Data Center in Cyberjaya and also in Johor. So they are fully connected. Of course, we don't know there is a pandemic. We don't know. But we were lucky. We prepared the necessary infrastructure. So when data center is there, the next after data center is what will be hosted in the data center. After we put the hosting facilities, then people start to move into other parts of the property that we have. So naturally, what will happen is people do co-location. After co-location, then people will come in and bring the cloud-related facilities. After the cloud-related facility, people will come in as a software part of the whole thing. So if you ask me, well, it is a blessing. We had it before, but it accelerated the whole thing, and the facilities that we have now is like hotcakes. So we are glad. We are glad. Maybe we cannot charge yet, or maybe some leeway, some X number of months that we give them to enjoy before we actually reap the fruits, but it's positive. I think it has to be both. I would rather look at it in two perspectives. One is from a certain type of industry, they are started to embrace it seriously, but there are some parts of the industry that we need some assistance for them to embrace. So I think government has also played a very important role. They have allocated quite a sizable amount of grant to make sure that they embrace digitalization in the faster mode. I am in the opinion, and I would like to believe that the country is on the right traction to go serious on this, because when there was a limited movement of people, we do not have a choice, but we still need to get things done. So digital is a way to go. But the way I look at digital is not purely about having a conference call, or it is having a WebEx or MS Teams, but it is what's next after that. So the world or the life has changed to what extent, as I mentioned just now. We need to have a strong and solid platform. How do we work from the software level, infrastructure level, platform level? We are there, then we are going to play a very important role there. You might have to focus in some other area. If you are in a service banking, you are focused in some other areas. Banking are moving into full digitalization, and they are also moving into, some of the banks are looking at minimal number of branches and how things can be turned into full digitized environment. On manufacturing, they have got a different view, because they also try to embed IR 4.0 in their whole practices. Service-based, I think service-based industry is more on focusing on customer-centric and how the customer can embrace more from facing a customer. So this, we are talking about a full-blown social media, a quad play, and how we can have a customer service experience from a Twitter perspective, Facebook, and also any digital platform that is required. We have that. I would look at it a sector that benefits TM1 but relates the public. I would look at it from that angle. So I think banking is one. Banking is pretty aggressive into this. So it can be in two ways. The development bank, the SMEs bank, you know, they're looking at it from an angle how they can disburse back the money to the businesses that will in turn will give an improvement or impacting matters to the employee of the organisation, and in turn back it move into the whole economic ecosystem. So banking is one critical area that okay, we have two areas. One is from an advisory perspective. Secondly is from a infrastructure perspective. I think if they turn to TM1 from a platform perspective, from infrastructure perspective, and also when we talk about digitalization, you cannot run away from cloud services. So we have got the basic platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and software as a service. And the most important thing is we have got a solution that resides in the country. So one of the key questions that will always be asked about when it comes to data, is the data residing here, or is the data has been confined by the word sovereignty? So do you have a full data sovereignty? So yeah, we do have that. For now, we are the only one that have it. We have got our own facility, and it is important. Why it is important when it comes to data, or the data sovereignty, data locality, or if you are data sovereign within the country, you are not impacted by any laws of the data that resides in other country. In the case of you've got an application running, the data resides in other country outside Malaysia, so you have no control on that. So I think when it comes to this, I think it is important for for the country to make sure you have got this. So our job as part of the responsible corporate organization to make sure we have all those facilities. That's why one of the few things when we started the beginning of the cloud, actually we're giving it free. We're giving it free for 6 months for you to look at it. So we partner with Microsoft. There was some area that you don't even have to pay. We just need to get things moving first. So these are the few things that we did. After 6 months, then some of the initiative, we don't even charge them. So we hope by this, then you can get a feel and you know exactly from which angle that you want to drive your organization or direct the business direction from your angle by adopting the necessary application towards digitalization of your operation. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have now is to convince the market to spend. I think everybody is really pulling a handbrake, assessing their spend, assessing the overall expenditure of the company for a simple reason, survival. So those are the key challenges to us. So when it comes to the business that we have, then it leads back into creativity from our side. We are lucky because as far as the group is concerned, we are pretty strong financially, so we should be in the position to be with the customer during the difficult times. I would say we are ready, but we have to be cautious. Because at the end of the day, when the customer is not spending, then we will suffer. So the generals on the battlefront, which is my team members, their job is to advise them whether this is the best time for you to invest in this area or this is the best time for you not to invest in this area. So we are doing consultative selling. We tell them this is the best thing to do. It's not that we give you this, you will run away. We give you this, we take care of this whole thing and make sure things are being properly managed or properly serviced as far as we are concerned. We are there for long. We are a cloud agnostic player. When I mean cloud agnostic, we provide all platforms. But we also have our own, because you see, when it comes to cloud related services, some organizations, some MNCs, they have got a global direction. Some industries, some verticals, they used to have this platform. So we have that. So we have Microsoft, we have VMware, we are cloud agnostic player. Take your own sweet time, that's the biggest threat. Because I have faith in this organization. I have faith in how to drive this organization. The threat, I think, is my own people. So you just need to make sure you're always on your toe to get things moving. One twist, you might lose something. We have experienced this before. So you just need to be on the watch all the time. I think one of the most important things is being a leader is you must be able to listen. And I think a success leader is a leader who can make himself redundant. Redundant does not mean that they can go redundant. That means that they produce more leaders to take over. I always use that word. Those who know me, my success is about me being redundant. So that means the organization is ready. So you have to be a good listener and you have to make yourself redundant. But the plan has to be in place.